Thank you. Whoa. Thanks very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, it's going to be an interesting night because I'm going to go deep in the rabbit hole tonight. One of the things I think with the alternative media, and I do this myself on the website, and I do it in various other ways. The names, dates, places, Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates, level of all this. Yeah, exactly. And I just think the alternative media just started to coagulate a bit and just kind of look inward at that sort of stuff. And tonight, I ain't going to do that. I'm going to go way out from that because you go through a series of ceilings, if you like, where you think it gets to a certain point and, I get that. But the question has to be then, so what's that part of? And when you get there, so what's that part of? So what I'm going to do is go deep, like I say, into strange, far out, far off places without which we'll never understand actually what's happening in the world that we call human. But first, what I'm going to do is just talk briefly about where the information comes from, all this, I'm in the 34th year of this now. I was really pleased to be here, see. Honestly, when I realized someone said this is planet Earth, I was going, what? Earth's a shitty place, I want to go home. And I had me duck for company. I tell you, I was born and brought up, first of all, in this place called Leeds Street in Leicester. And this was taken in 1952, the year I was born, and it was about another 3 years before I left the place. God knows why, when I look back, they were already doing slum clearance on it. And then we went out to a big council estate on the edge of Leicester. It was not finished here. That's me with my mother. And I've got to say, you know, people have this idea of little me. I've got no power. And you know, the best things in life always happen to someone else. Well, that was me then. And it ain't me now. And if anyone is going through that little me, poor me, I've got no power, you don't have to stay there, because you have, as we'll see as we go along. So that was me. And what kind of got me out of this? I guess, the best things in life are going to happen to someone else. But my life experience at that time was telling me that's how it's going to be. But it doesn't have to be. And what got me out of it was when I started to become quite good at football. This is me playing for a primary school team. And there was this strange thing happen when I was a kid. And I still don't understand it. Everywhere I went, I had this red ring around my head. Wherever I bloody went, honestly. And people were going, what's that, David? I said, I have no idea, just everywhere I go. Anyway, eventually it disappeared when I started playing football. So I became a professional footballer. This is me playing at the old White Hart Lane Tottenham ground. And I played for a few clubs, and then rheumatoid arthritis finished my career at 21. And I became a journalist in, first of all, newspapers. I left school at 15. Never took a major exam in my life. And so trying to get into journalism was very difficult. So I got a job on this weekly paper in Leicester that was just about read by the people that wrote it. But things kind of moved. I got into the BBC eventually. God, smarmy bastard, isn't it? Was that really me? What are you doing, smarmy bugger? And I did, things like Breakfast Time, Frank Boff, older people in here will remember them, and Selena Scott and all that. And then there was the kids' programs with Keith Chegwin. He was a lovely bloke, he was. And John Craven and Sarah Green and Mike Reed. And then, look, I am bloody sorry, all right? Look, There are mitigating circumstances. I became a national spokesman for the Green Party, not for very long, he said, quick. And in those days, it hadn't completely been taken over by complete insanity and absolutely focused in its entirety on human-caused climate change, which is, in my opinion, not happening. But if we think it's happening, dystopia can be justified. So I did that for about a year and a half, and then I chucked it when I realized that politics was the answer to nothing. But something was going on in that year, 1989, when I was a spokesman for the Green Party, still working for the BBC. Whenever I was in a room alone, it was like I wasn't. This started in early 1989, and it got more and more and more tangible until in the March of 1990, I'm in a hotel room called Kensington Hilton, just down from Shepherd's Bush where the BBC is. I'd just done a program. And I sat in this empty hotel room on the side of the bed looking out into the room. This presence was so bloody tangible. I said out into the room, look, if there's something there, would you please contact me because you'll drive me up the bloody wall. And a few days later, I was with my big strapping son now, little then, Gareth, he's here tonight. We were near a newsagent on the seafront, where there's the railway station on the seafront in Ryde on the Isle of Wight. And a railway worker stopped me to talk about football. And when we stopped, I realized that Gaz wasn't there, but I knew where he would be. He'd be in the newsagent shop reading the steam train books, because we like steam trains. It runs in the genetics. It's gone into another generation of my grandkids now. I kind of said to him, come on, Gaz, we'll go up in the town and get some lunch. And at that moment, I'm standing at the door of the newsagent, just sold a few books, not many. And it was like the atmosphere around me changed. Now I've realized that it was an electromagnetic field change. And I had this, it wasn't words, it wasn't a voice, it was a very strong thought form, which said, go and look at the books on the far side. And it was a very strange experience. So I start walking across to the books, and this newsagent sells and sold then things like Mills and Boon type novels, Barbara Cartland, for people to read on the beach in the deck chairs. So I'm walking across in a bewildered daze thinking, what, books, what? And then, in among the romantic novels, was this book, Mind to Mind, by a lady called Betty Shine. And I picked it up because it was different from all the others. And I turned it over, and I read the blurb, and it said psychic. She was a professional psychic, and this was basically her biography. My immediate reaction was, I wonder if she could pick up what's happening to me. So I read it in 24 hours, went to see her, didn't tell her what was happening, nothing, just said, she did kind of hands-on healing type stuff. And I said that I had arthritis, and maybe that could help. But I wanted to know, really, will you pick something up? So I went a couple of times, and it was all fine. Nice chat. Third time, I'm sitting on this medical-type bench in her front room near Brighton. And she's doing that just after my left knee. And suddenly I felt like a spider's web on my face, which, again, I had no idea at the time. It was an electromagnetic field. And immediately, or virtually immediately afterwards, she said, my God, this is powerful. I've got to close my eyes for this one. And she starts telling me that whatever she was connecting with was telling her to tell me that I was a healer who was here to heal the earth, and he will be world famous. My immediate reaction was, Betty, I present the sod in snooker, right? Sometimes he will say things and wonder where they came from. They will be our words. Knowledge will be put into his mind, and other times he will be led to knowledge. One man cannot change the world, but one man can communicate the message that can change the world, will change the world. And, of course, more and more people are putting that message out now, which is fantastic. So just after that, I was sacked by the BBC out of nowhere. Didn't renew my contract. So I was out of work and able for a short time, no money coming in, to basically go with this, because although everything that was being told to me was, from a 5-sense human point of view, was like, you are having a laugh, mate. Something here said, go with it. You've got to go with it. Go with it. And I ended up in Peru in the February of 1991, purely on intuition. And something happened to me there that basically changed everything. This is me recreating it in 2012. And I stood at this point, maybe not exactly this point, but very, very close, looking at the distant mountains. And suddenly, I felt like, just in the news shot, my feet were like pulling to the ground like magnets, and the atmosphere around me changed, like my electromagnetic field. And then I started feeling this kind of, this drill going in the top of my head, coming through to my feet, and another flow coming the other way. And I heard two things. One, they'll be talking about this 100 years from now, and two, it will be over when you feel the rain. Now, unlike this sky, the one in 1991 was totally cloudless, piercing Peruvian sun, and it will be over when you feel the rain. Crazy, crazy stuff. And then my arms went out like that, and I haven't made any decision to do it, and then this energy got more and more powerful until I'm shaking. And it went on for about 45 minutes. And you know when you drive in a car, and you can't remember the last 2 miles or so because your subconscious has been driving the car. Well, it's like that. I kept coming back to conscious awareness, and then it would disappear. And one time I came back, I saw that over the distant mountains there was a light gray mist, and then it got darker. And you know, if you put this in a B movie or even an A movie, they'd say, look, far-fetched, mate. But out of these mountains came this stair-rod rainstorm with an absolute straight line. You know, talk about a front. It was a straight line. It was coming towards me, by which time I'm shaking with the energy, and then it hit me. And as it hit me, the energy stopped. And I'm like Bambi with my legs. And my life changed after that. And something was going on in terms of energy, and it had the effect, which is why what immediately followed, or pretty much immediately followed, it had the effect of, you know, if you're going through your life and you're in a bubble of perception, bubble of reality, and someone comes along and they don't give you any bloody warning. They don't say, in a minute, I'm going to pop your bubble, get ready. No, bang, gone. And it was like, I've described it as like, you know, pressing too many keys on the computer. The computer freezes, it can't process the information. And what was happening after this was so many insights, concepts, pieces of knowledge, information were coming into my conscious mind. I couldn't process it, and I basically froze. And in the middle of it, I went on the Woken Show. Hey! And it seemed that I was going mad, but what I was doing was going sane. And I would say to anybody who's going through this now, this transformation of perception, more and more people are going through it, and maybe their families or their people at work. Oh, what's on going on with him? Oh, yeah, bugger, he's going mad. He is. Oh, yeah, son, look at him. You're not going mad. You're going sane. But, of course, what happened is this freezing computer was 3 months. It was 3 months. And then eventually it went zoom, zoom, zoom. And people were coming up to me and saying, oh, thought you'd gone mad, mate. You're the same bloke I used to know. Outwardly, I seemed to be. But I wasn't, because I saw the world in a completely different way. But, of course, the perception of me was that I was going mad, and that was it. And so every single bridge to my old life was gone. And I felt such a victim that my old life was gone, and I couldn't. No, I went, yes, let's go for it. Because there's something here was saying, go with this. This is for you. And so my old life never came back. Thank you, God. But because of the perception, I went through historic levels of ridicule because they thought I was mad. Of course, that's what you do. If you think someone's mad, you just ridicule them, don't you? Yeah, that's good. But, you know, when you go through that level of ridicule and the abuse that then followed after that, there's one or two ways you can respond. You can disappear from the world and hide and never be seen again, or you can learn the life-transforming power of saying, I don't give a shit. You can say about me what you like. That's your right, but I have a right to have my opinion as well. And so people say, I'm offended. Okay, you know, you just described exactly the situation. You're offended. You've chosen to be offended. Therefore, what you've actually done is given your power away to that which you think offends you. I don't know what it's like to feel offended because I can't manifest that. Because my philosophy is people have a right to see me as they choose. I have a right to be me as I choose, and that's the deal. So you can fall apart, or you can be it can be the fire that hones the steel, and I chose the latter. Because the worst thing you can call me, I will border on offended with this maybe, is to call me normal. Normal. To being called normal in a world that's frickin' insane, that's got to be some kind of insult, isn't it? And look at it. Everybody believes in normal. Everybody knows that, mate. Well, how does everyone know that? Because everyone's told that. Well, they're told that because it's normal. What is normal? Normal is only that which you normally experience, and that which you are told is normality. And if you step out of the normality, then normal is on your case big time, never more so than now. And so normal is fundamental to controlling human behavior via control of human perception. It's not normal. Good. So I began the long walk. In 1991, I had no idea where it was going, none at all. I just knew I had to go on it, go with it. And these two things then became very, very important in my life, almost from the moment that I left Betty Shine's front room. Sometimes he will say things, I wonder where they came from. They will be our words. Knowledge will be put into his mind, and other times he will be led to knowledge. In the first 2 years after Betty Shine, I was walking into information in extraordinarily synchronistic ways. It would be a personal experience, it would be meeting somebody or people, it would be coming across documents, books, all these different sources of information. And it was like someone was handing me pieces in a puzzle, almost in the order to most quickly see where they went. And in the first 2 years, the process was, well, maybe 2.5 years, was looking at the information that was coming in this synchronistic way and then concluding from it what was going on. And then there was a change after 2.5 years where I would know what was going on, and then the names, dates, places, tangible information would follow after that to confirm the initial, I think this is happening. And of course, what happens then is that process is tested by the passage of events. Does what you thought was going on and the information that supports it, does it actually happen? And overwhelmingly it has, which gives you more confidence to go deeper and deeper and deeper in the rabbit hole, which I'm going to do tonight. So what I've been doing ever since is connecting the dots in the maze, because only when you connect apparently unconnected people, organizations, events, does the picture become clear. Otherwise, it's just random. Why is that happening? Why is that happening? Why is that happening? And that's how we are presented with world the world of reality, the world of events. It's what I call the postage stamp consensus. This is a narrow band of information, the normal, which is pounded at us through the so-called education system, through the media in all its forms, and more and more now kind of through the internet. And it's done by giving us pieces, but not as pieces, as random events. And when you put the pieces together, you see how it connects. And my God, there's so many levels that the mainstream alternative has not even touched yet. So that is what is going on. So tonight, I'm going to just put together in the first half, and then we'll take questions wherever anyone wants to go. I'm going to put together what I've learned over this 34 years and how it goes much further than even the mainstream alternative is willing to go.